This segment is brought to you by Trap Chevrolet. We're always on your side.
Welcome to Bayou Time. I'm Jacob DeGate. Glad to have you joining us, and I'm glad to introduce, we have Kim Chauvin joining me now on stage. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, here to talk about your day job, I guess you say. A little bit, just announced, I believe August 11th was the opening of the fall shrimp season, is that right?
Yes. So it's our white shrimp season. We have May and June is our brown shrimp season, and which produce quite a bit of shrimp, but mostly on the smaller side. It was either like a 10, 15, and then it went down to 80 hundreds. And
wow.
so there was not much in between. I can't remember selling very much of like 21.25s, 26.30s, and 31.35s. So I think maybe in that span, I might have got a couple thousand pounds of that in that. So now we're over to white shrimp season, which began, I think it was 6 p.m. on August 11th. And we have been waiting for many of the boats to come in on the eastern side, which is Grand Isle, because we now have a dock in Grand Isle. We bought Dean Blanchard's place, and so we have a number of boats that come in there.
I thought I noticed your signs going to the camp in Grand Isle. A couple of them popped up.
Nice, pretty island vibe that I have going there. And then we have the dock in Dulac. And so the dock in Dulac at this point has been like super busy. Like they've been having boats flow in and out. Mainly right now we're looking at 26.30s, 31s, and 36.40s coming in. Not a lot of big shrimp, but some. And so, one of our jobs that we do is we actually freeze head-on shrimp to get to the restaurants and stuff like that, that need them, in the wintertime and stuff like that. So we keep them in cold storage and do those types of things. So it has been a different year for sure, and there are a lot of questions that need to be asked of wildlife and fishery. There may be some changes that need to be made as far as taking the politics out of deciding when an industry should open up and when it should not.
Gotcha. And this one, what is it? Is it typical for this time of year for it to open? When does it usually open?
So it used to be when it was legislatively done. I think it was the second week in May and the third week in August, and it was done in that part of it. And now it is when the biologist comes in with the testing and stuff. And so they test a little different from the way we trawl, and they have done some different things. Peyton has been open, which is the biologist. He has been open to doing some different things. I think that they get caught up in the historical part, and we're ever changing. And you can see a lot of changes just with when they leave the Davis Pond freshwater diversion, when they leave that open too long. What it does to the eastern side of the state is it kind of takes out the estuary because it's too much fresh that is coming in. So we have to start watching that in January. So my plan is to watch from January 1st on, and it looks like I'm going to be in touch with Mr. Gordy Dove quite often when it comes to that. I think he's used to that on that part. But we have some fishermen in that area that are going to help me keep watch over it.
Certainly. So what it boils down to, I guess, the Secretary of Wildlife and Fisheries, is he the one that has the final call? Or?
Well, what happens is Peyton will have the guys and ladies do their sampling, and when that comes in, then he makes a recommendation to the commission, which is the Wildlife and Fisheries Commission. You have several different gentlemen and ladies that may be on it, and they're from different parts of the state. Not everybody understands our industry. It's kind of like me understanding turkey hunting or deer hunting. It's not my forte. So they kind of lean on the person who is in the industry. And so it's very important that we get people on the commission that understand our industry and can relay to those guys and ladies the importance of when the opening should be.
Certainly, and that's not something that you can really learn in a classroom or anything. You got to be, down there and
Yes.
doing it for a while.
Yes. Well, it's one of the things that we worry about because, price has been so low for so long due to the imports coming in and people not understanding that they're eating imports at a lot of different restaurants, which has been changing up with the laws that we've been passing in the state. And with the DNA testing that has been going on at different festivals, at, different restaurants and stuff throughout the Gulf region is where it's been happening. And so we've lost probably 3/4 of our fleet. And the younger generation has not been much in coming up to it. And if you do want to do this, you need to have someone within your family that is teaching you how to go about this.
Certainly, and that was one of my questions. Of course, you have with the hurricanes, you have more people leaving the down the by areas and the areas where the families are together, and there's typically that history of shrimping in it. That's certainly got to it has its toll on, I guess, the fleet. And like you said, it is down. That's what I would expect, for what we've had, especially with those, but the prices have been so low when they were for that time that, people were losing money. Sometimes they would say, if they were going shrimping.
Right. It's
We do have, we have to take a quick break, but when we come back, I'd like to talk a little bit more about, some things that affect the price. And again, this season. So stay tuned right here on HTV.
This segment was brought to you by Trapp Chevrolet. We're always on your side.
Welcome to Bayou Time. I'm Jacob DeGate. We're talking with Kim Chauvin about the fall shrimp season that just opened up a little bit. Kim, we were talking before the break about, I guess, the price of shrimp. Can you tell us, I know there's so many factors that go into, what sets the price, but where are we right now as far as the price? Is it, decent or?
I think it's decent in the amount that you're working on commodity parts of it, and it's different when you're retailing it. And so there are two different markets that you're looking at. So that is those straight to the consumer, and then those that goes into a commodities market. And so you're looking at different pricing. I think with the tariffs and the anti-dumping case that we brought to Department of Commerce, and that has worked along with the new administration putting tariffs on certain countries, because what's happened is like our anti-dumping, we won our case, and then they put tariffs on certain countries that we went against.
Can you tell me, explain, because I'm not familiar, what exactly is the anti-dumping?
So the anti-dumping suit had to do with showing that certain countries, and I forget the 4 that we went after, but we went after 4, and it showed that they were being subsidized. It showed that they were under market value, and that they were coming in here. Actually, our country subsidizes those countries by like $16.8 billion a year. Wow. And I think it's probably grown since then. And it's a disadvantage that we have to live with on this side of it. So our prices were driven down by shrimp coming over from those certain countries. And they do circumvent a lot along the ports and stuff. So we've been working with Department of Commerce to find out how they're going to do these tariffs, because I think he just put a 25%, I think the president just put a 25% tariff on India. So our question was, is it 25% plus the 10% that they had, or is it just 25%? I'm all about the 35% myself, but I'm a little biased when it comes to that. But because we've lost so much in our industry and we're losing food security, I think that this administration needs to take a deep delve into how to secure commercial fishing in the United States, farming, ranching. Like, if we let these things go, we will have no food security, and we will be dependent upon other countries for food sources.
Certainly. And that you saw during the pandemic what happens when you outsource a lot of stuff and you need things quickly and your country doesn't produce it,
Right.
you're kind of out of luck.
Well, you look around and you see what's essential. Farming, essential. Ranching, essential. Commercial fishing is certainly essential. So in the Bayou, when it came to those types of things, we're going to make it. We have our food source here. But when you get into these big cities, it's not the same. And so they're trying to figure out where their food source is going to come from. And you're working with, probably USDA and commodities and getting that stuff there to different and grocery stores and seeing prices rise because you can only get so much.
Now, as far as competition, I guess, within the country, you have, of course, the marketing campaign to make sure you buy local Gulf shrimp. But then you also have, I think I've seen people, farm-raised shrimp, outside. Is that becoming an issue at all about, shrimping?
You do
away
have,
from the Gulf?
Well, you do have some farms. Some are in Texas and some are in Florida. And I will tell you that most people that we know, as far as business-wise, will always gravitate towards the Louisiana shrimp, Mississippi, that type of thing, because our taste and our quality is there. It's different than farm shrimp. We're not feeding into certain things. So this is wild caught. It is really important that people always ask in a restaurant, in a grocery store, in a seafood market where their source is from. Where are they getting it from? Is it domestic? Is it Louisiana? Those types of things. It's super important to do those, even in a restaurant. And look, if your waiter or waitress doesn't know, then you call in the manager and just say, I just want to know.
Certainly.
And
I think that the state has done some good things, with some legislation to help them, put more of the responsibility, I guess, on the restaurant itself to publish
Yes.
that information.
We've worked really, really hard to get a lot of legislative things done. I've worked hard with Tim Kerner, Jessica Doming, Senator Mike Facey. It was really important that we put our industry in the forefront before we lose it. And we made the state understand that if you don't have something, a substitute industry coming in, then you better work with us because we need to save this industry. And that's one of the things. And a lot of it came down to health reasons of why you should not be eating imported shrimp. And when you find out the diseases that it causes from eating imported shrimp, it will blow your mind.
Certainly. And it's just another thing to support the people in your community. That's one thing that helps make everybody better, to make this region strong. But thank you very much for coming on. We certainly appreciate your insight. I know you have a lot of history with it being in the business, and we thank you for coming on.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All righty. Stay tuned for more right here on HTV.
This segment was brought to you by Barker Honda. It's better at Barker.